Yuki Tsunoda might have something to say about that as he's looking to the outside. We're defending hard on the inside. Russell. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another F1 25 My Team Career Mode video. Today, round 6 around Miami, and what a video we have in store for you today. So stick around, it's going to be a good one. Now, strategy, as you can see, is very, very wet. So we're actually going to try and do intermediate tires for the whole sprint, which is only 7 laps. But that's obviously enough laps for us to fall to the back of the grid or climb to the top step of the podium. But we've got to be on our marks, ready to go, and that's a very close to invalidating the grid spot, but 0.1 of a meter to our grid box, so pretty much bang on, really. But inters versus wets in a sprint race around Miami, all the lights are on. Now they're out as we go racing. That was a very long hold there, but a pretty decent start besides the wheel spin, which I do love getting in this game. Lando Norris and Albon side by side, and it's pretty much 2 by 2 by 3 all the way from the very front of the field down to where we are. We're trying to hold around the outside, but nothing doing there, and all over the curbs, which is not where you want to be at all. Right now, the grip, as you can see, is virtually non-existent. And mixed in with some dirty air, the understeer is unreal. But it's only going to get easier for us. The reason we put on the inters is because when you've done a couple of laps in the game, you start to get this racing line kind of goat track, where that part of the track is dry enough for inters, but anything off the racing line isn't. And we've got 22 Formula 1 cars going around Miami as George Russell is now looking to the outside, so we're going to have to defend and just hold on to this position if we can. Try and give him the room on exit, which we do, but he did back out of it before then. And yeah, for us it's a waiting game. Albon and co up ahead, they're getting away, but we're going to hopefully come back at them towards the second half, or in the second part of this sprint, and hopefully we can hold off Russell behind us from getting the position, which, yeah, we're going to check with Mark what the weather is. Obviously full wets are the best at the minute, supposedly, but in the game I think inters and wets are very similar. There's not that much between them. Obviously you will have more grip on the wets ever so slightly, but with the track drying out in the racing line, they kind of become a little bit useless. Although, saying that, some extra traction and grip would be very nice to have on the car at the minute. You can see we're less than 5% battery. Russell to the outside again, but we're just braking later than him. We're risking to lock the rears and the fronts and just slide off the track into a wall, but we do have the ability to brake a bit later and kind of, yeah, release a bit of the brake pressure just to try and survive the late braking maneuver. So we're not really massively under threat from Russell. I think we've got slightly lower downforce than the rest of the guys on the grid. At least that's kind of what it looks like at the minute, but maybe not, because he's always catching us in a straight, although he is in a Mercedes with his teammate right behind him. So we can only see what happens. Albon has dropped off the back of Hamilton, and again Russell is looking to the outside. Can we do anything here? Again with late braking, a little bit of locking, but we managed to get the car stopped and hit the apex as well nicely. And there's still not that much grip out here. I was kind of hoping at this point that we would have a bit more grip than we do now, but we're going to just see how much we can close in on Alex Albon ahead of us in the Williams, and see if we can maybe go for a move on him, because it's probably going to be easier to defend against that Williams than it will be to defend from the Mercedes of Russell, who's just behind us. So let's see, what does Mark have for the weather? Apparently it's going to take a while for the track to dry out, but we've skipped ahead to lap 6, and as you can see we put in a green first sector, so personal best, and a purple, which is the fastest of all in sector 2, which in Miami is kind of easy because of the slow section just before the back straight. And yeah, the pace is coming to us. You can see the dry line, the racing line that we should probably stick to if we want to make the most of that grip. But right now, we are focusing on the rear end of that Williams up ahead, And as you can see, yeah, Russell's dropping back slightly. Albon is falling into our clutches. Can we take away a P7 in the sprint, which is going to give us a couple of points to our name straight away this race weekend? And he's looking a little bit slow to me, but we don't have too much battery, and this is the final lap. So we've got to dump everything on this straight to give ourselves any sort of chance of making any moves stick as we move into Sector 2 and Sector 3. Albon's got some very good straight line speed, and so does Russell actually, so we're going to defend the inside to stop the Mercedes from slowing us down any more than this weather has done. And Albon's looking like he's kind of getting away from us, but through this middle sector here, the very twisty, slow technical section, we're going to have more grip than Albon, so maybe we can launch an attack into the final corner. We just got to get a decent exit here. We do understeer slightly and make contact with the wall, but crucially we get the throttle down pretty well, as you can probably see from the telemetry in the middle of the screen, which is probably a this race and this race only thing. But Albon looks like he's done enough. Max Verstappen sets fastest lap on the final lap and wins the race. Albon's looking a little bit vulnerable, but there's just not enough racetrack and not enough grip for us to do anything meaningful other than maintain position in the sprint.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Yeah, same feeling, really. We could have done more, but I think, to be honest, we did pretty much everything we could in the sprint to kind of get what we came away with. But moving swiftly on, as you can see, the race starts at 7:24 in the video time. So for this race, no wet weather, so it looks like a pretty easy dry strategy. It's suggesting medium hard. If you've been around and watched the channel for a little while, you'll know I do have a tendency to enjoy going hard medium, so taking the harder compound first. It basically removes the need to warm up those tires as much when you come out of the pits.
Okay,
and again, a pretty
parking
decent
there. Nice
parking
one. That's gonna give you the
on the
edge
grid,
if you
but
get
a
good
0.8
launch
is
as the
nowhere
race
near a
starts.
0.1, so we'll take it. But we're going to
Okay,
wait
so that's
for
the rest of
the
grid
lights to
forming up
come
now.
on,
Be patient
and then we'll
watch
see
those
what we can
lights.
do on these hards. We are surrounded by other drivers on mediums. We're in 10th on the grid. All the lights are on. Now they're out as we go racing, and less wheel spin today than during the sprint. Pretty decent start though. Lando Norris getting caught up on the outside of Liam Lawson, who we're going to try and sweep down the inside of and hopefully claim a couple of positions in the first turn. And yes, we do. Straight up to 7th actually, so 3 positions gained so far. Yuki Tsunoda just ahead of us, and again the dirty air is just killing any downforce we have on the car, which to be honest isn't a lot. We do have more front end than back end at the minute, but we'll see what we can do. So we're going to dump the battery, try and stay in the wheel tracks of Tsunoda, who almost plows it into the wall as he's looking for a way around Pierre Gasly in the Alpine ahead of him. Tsunoda to the inside. Norris is going around the outside of us. Hit the braking point pretty well. The McLaren is still there, so we've got to give him some sort of room, but he does back out of it going into this section, because if you're side by side, as you can probably see now, you're going to lose tons and tons of time. But Tsunoda backs out of it and lets Gasly live to fight another day. But that has just made it easier for us, really, because if the guys in front on mediums don't fight, we're probably not really going to be able to stay in the fight with them on hards. Tsunoda going for it on Gasly though, down the inside. It looks like he's going to make the move stick, and there's actually contact between those two just ahead. I don't see any damage done on the front wing of the Alpine. And can we make anything move now for us? Norris doesn't look like he's a threat at the moment, so we're going to go to the outside of Gasly. Think about the inside of Tsunoda, but Gasly turns defense into attack, as you'll see in the thumbnail anyway. There's a bit of a theme in today's video for that kind of maneuver. But Gasly looking a bit shaken after the start. He's going a bit deep as well, around this very high-speed twisty section. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Sector 1 in Jeddah, just with less likelihood that you're going to bin it into a wall. But yeah, we've got the DRS. we've got some battery. It looks like Norris has a lot more than us, but he's just not finding a way past us right now. We're dumping everything we have to potentially launch an attack on Gasly, but as we're not doing that, Norris comes down the inside. We still have a bit of room there, though, to play with, which is nice for the McLaren driver. But, yeah, just even as we give a couple of walls a bit of a kiss, probably destroy our tyre wear at the same time. There are yellow flags out for a car that's retiring behind us, I think. I'm just waiting for it. An Aston Martin of Lance Stroll is out of the session. I don't think that's going to be a safety car, as now Lawson and Norris going at it again as they did on lap 1. And yeah, there's not much we can do against Gasly at the moment, but our time might be coming soon. We'll just have to wait and find out. And there's a bit of a fastest lap train going on at the very front of the field as the top 3 seem to be running away in this race. But since then we've moved forward a lap, and Gasly doesn't have DRS, we do, so we're going to go to the outside and hopefully outbrake the Alpine slightly, claim the inside for the next corner and just chuck it in. We've got plenty of time to slow the car down, and through there the balance of the car feels alright. We do have, it does go a little bit floaty on the rear, I have to say, sort of mid corner when we're off throttle, so something to watch out for if you're racing this track yourself and you're maybe not feeling too confident in the car. Just be careful when you're, you know, full lock in the second part of that corner when the tyres are fully loaded up. But Tsunoda's looking vulnerable here. We're going to do the same thing to him as we did to Gasly. We actually got much better minimum speed through there as well, and it's just about here when you're starting to put the throttle down that the car can step away from you. Just watch out. If you're driving a pretty stable setup, you should be fine. I tend to prefer the less stable setups that just give me a bit more speed than my skill can produce. So that's a little bit backstory there. But Tsunoda looks like he's coming back to fight for that position, and there's nothing I can do at all. Look at the speed on that Red Bull. But what we're kind of doing here is working with Tsunoda, because there's the two up ahead. It looks like Russell is going to go to the outside of Tsunoda, but there's just not enough track. A little bit of a silly move, but also didn't lose anything. So yeah, nothing gained, nothing lost. But it looks like there's a McLaren of Piastri and Russell just ahead of Tsunoda. I'm not sure if Tsunoda got DRS this time, but we've been kind of working together with the Red Bull, as Norris is not for working together as he's steaming down the outside, but we've got the inside here. We're going to try not to slam it into the rear of Tsunoda. I'm trying not to get myself taken out of context too much, but yeah, we're trying to get into that fight for the front, and right now it looks like there's not much we can do, but Tsunoda can, as they're now 3 wide. What is going on up here between Piastri, Russell, and Tsunoda? Very slow on the apex. Tsunoda, rightfully so, backs out of it. But but Piastri and Russell are now side by side into turn 1, it looks like, although they might have sorted things out, as we're going to go for a lunge down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, which will then put us on the back of P4 in this race. So we've gone from P10 to P4 in about 8 laps. We are on the hard tyre as well, so these hards are working really well for us. Obviously the tyre wear is going to be going in our favour as well, as the AI are on the sort of less durable tyre. And now we're going to have DRS essentially to the podium positions, which is a really good spot for us. If we can get an overcut and make it work here, we could be in with a really good shot at a podium today. But Yuki Tsunoda might have something to say about that, as he's looking to the outside. We're defending hard on the inside. Russell breaking early, so we turn defense into attack, taking the inside line from the Mercedes of George Russell and putting ourselves up into P4 at the same time. And if you're looking for the point in the video where the thumbnail comes from, it's right there. You cannot miss it. But yeah, that's put us in a pretty decent position, although we're kind of vulnerable now because we don't have the DRS to Piastri. But soon after that, everyone boxed, so we're pretty alright for position at the moment. No DRS for us, no DRS for anyone behind us. And yeah, 14.1 seconds to Leclerc. I'm not sure what the pit loss is around here, but we're going to see what it is now. Remember, 14.3 to Leclerc. Pretty safe pit in for us. and we're going to hope that the team pull out an almighty pit stop, and we should be somewhere within that leading pack, hopefully. I'm hoping before there's a sort of a third pack on the road. There's this pack that's about to pass us, which is the top three. Then there's a Norris and a Russell. The team didn't nail the pit stop. It was a 3.9 in the end, but there's another group that's coming just around turn 1 right now. Let's see if we can beat them out onto the track, and it looks like we have done pretty comfortably. It's about a second back to Lewis Hamilton, but we've got fresh mediums compared to their hards that are maybe a lap or two old, depending on what lap each driver boxed on. And we're running a little bit wide. We kind of overestimated how much grip we'd have immediately on these medium tyres, but yeah, pretty good strategy so far. P6 on the road. This is for position, and now we just have to get as far forward as we can. There's no looking back at this point. We've got a nice setup on. It's working for the car. We've got some decent tyres on us as well. And now with the lower fuel as well, our mediums will be working better for us than the mediums were working for everybody else in this race who put them on at the start. So, again, immediately onto the back of George Russell's Mercedes. And let's see where we can get to in this race. It should be a pretty straightforward pass with some DRS. Russell doesn't have any DRS, but he probably has more battery than us. He's going to defend. We're going to go to the outside and just look how much later we can brake than the AI at the moment on their hards. It's pretty much a whole car length that we can brake later than them, or maybe 2 car lengths even. I'm not really sure. I've not done the maths on that one or looked at any photographs because there aren't any photographs. It's a video game. But through Sector 1, we've dropped Russell out of DRS and claimed DRS on Lando Norris. So, mission success for us, and a purple Sector 1 to boot. So, happy days all around on lap 13 of 20 here at the Miami Grand Prix. Norris is maybe braking earlier than we thought, and I had to take avoiding action because I wasn't convinced I was going to stop before hitting the rear end of the McLaren, but we somehow make the move stick and get past him without even really wanting to go for a move. And to add an extra bit of spice to that, that's a purple Sector 2. So we are absolutely flying in this race now. Lap 14, we've dropped Norris in the first sector and gotten DRS to Piastri. Like, where has this pace come from? We have put upgrades on the car pretty consistently through the season, but it just seems like the setup, the upgrades, everything, the tyre strategy is really working in our favour to put us into an incredible position. Right in front of us, that's a podium. So we're going to send it down the inside, bang some wheels against one another for the podium place. We caught Piastri completely off guard there. I think he still kind of turned in as if he was going to go for the apex, rubbing his racing, but yeah, we were definitely far enough alongside as now around the outside of Verstappen, do I hear? Give him plenty of space. And yeah, we don't even have to stress about moves with the tyre offset that we have at the minute. The mediums are performing for us so well. Like the whole car is just working beautifully for us at the minute. And now we're on lap 20 of 20. So we've spent a bit of time catching up to Leclerc, and now we've caught up to Leclerc. It's the last lap, and from here there's only one more move we can make in the whole race. It's not a Piastri move. It's not a move that we did on Piastri. It's not there. All we have to do is get a decent exit from here, which we've done. We've got tons of battery to play with and DRS. Can the Ferrari of Leclerc keep this position, or can we absolutely demolish him as he's going defensive? We're going to be even braver than Leclerc and send it so shallow into the corner. We're blocking off the switchback, focusing all our energy on the traction, and it looks like we're going to take our first win here in Miami.
Oh, you worked hard for that one. Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, incredibly hard work for that one. Yeah, they can't really say much more than that. Great strategy, great setup. Everything worked in our favour.
And Callum Voigt
poison, takes the checkered flag and wins.
For the first time.
They had to be decisive with their overtaking today as they worked their way through the field. And those kind of race victories are so enjoyable because it's not just like winning from the front. They really had to work for it today.
And yeah, it was possibly the most enjoyable race on this game I've had so far.
Well, what a thrilling end to an incredible Grand Prix weekend. Our top 3 finishers should be incredibly happy with what they were able to achieve out there today.
To be honest, if I was Leclerc, I'd be upset. He lost the race in one corner. You know, I can't remember off the top of my head how many corners there are at Miami, but times that number by 20, and then he lost it by 1. So frustrating for him, I'm sure. But there's not much you can do when the other car behind you has DRS and better tyres. There's really not. And yeah, I'm just happy to the F1 gods that my traction didn't go out the window in that final corner, because that literally made the race.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Indeed, and yeah, it'll be a couple of days probably before the next video comes out, which might be a 2-player career. But here we go for the rundown. We won and got fastest lap. Thank you very much. Charles Leclerc P2, from P2 on the grid actually. Verstappen, the big loser out of all of it, P3. Then Lando Norris, Russell, Piastri, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Lawson, Sainz, Antonelli, Hauger, Bortoletto, Doohan, Behrman, Hadjar, and Lance Stroll, who DNF'd. So a very decent sprint weekend for us. A point in the sprint, and then fastest lap and the win in the main Grand Prix, which is where the most points are. Now, interesting that we're 17 points off the top of the driver standings. Very surprised by that, but again, we had a great weekend and some of the other top runners didn't. P4 in the constructors, again, surprised by that. I think Mercedes have been having a bit of a struggle session recently, and yeah, we've just maximized everything we can out of the car that we've got. Again, we've been lucky with the setups that they've been working so well, and I think even, you know, some of the positions we've managed to claim in qualifying with the chaotic start to the season. If you've seen those videos, like the first couple of videos, you'll know what I mean with the qualifying and where people ended up. It's crazy. I honestly thought it was going to be that whole way through the whole season, but now we seem to have some sort of normalcy in place for where drivers and cars are kind of qualifying. But yeah, crazy race, very, very fun to drive. Excited for the next few episodes of this My Team Career Mode, and more excited for the 2-player career that I've got coming out. The first episode will be dropping probably in the next week or so, and I'm going to try not to make it where it's My Team 1 week, 2-player the next. I want to try and do an episode of each every week, but we'll see how much time I have and how much it takes to kind of record and get everything edited and put together for you guys. But that's it. I'll leave you with the rest of the highlights, but if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave that like and subscribe. As always, I will see you all in a few days for another episode.